everybody got a little sheet of tick and cross?
Everybody got one?
Yes. So today's session is all about how the media portrays young people. So we just wanted to find out what you guys think about the media in your different countries or in your different Newcastles. So we want you to use the sheets of paper, one, and if you agree with what I say, hold up your tick, and if you disagree, so yes, no, good, bad, that kind of thing. So what do people think the media portray young people like in their country? So if that was good, that was bad, what would it be? Bad? Or you can kind of like wave it around if it's in between. So can somebody who's holding up a tick just explain why that is, what the kind of, how the media portray young people? Anybody that had a tick up? Yeah?
In South Africa, the media portrays young people as future leaders. Our opinions are taken strongly. Our concerns are raised, and interventions are implemented. Action plans are put in so that they can address those challenges that we have. In Newcastle, we have the Youth Council. We have public participation, and the young people have direct voice to voice their opinions and challenges. Yeah.
Very good. And somebody that had a cross up in the air, can you explain what the media portrays you like in your country?
I was waving mine. I was waving mine.
Really?
Did anybody have a cross? No? Everybody thinks the media is either good.
Well, I think it's mostly about what's worse about us, like drug problems and cigarettes and stuff. And I've got there a picture of a friend of mine taken out at a festival. She was at banging, and the picture was used in the paper the day later. It was what does it say? Something like heavy metal span, great fun, stuff like this.
Yeah.
Normal stuff. And 2 weeks later, they used the picture again in an article about drugs, and it has nothing to do with it, and it's, I think, a good example.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, and it's always about that.
So they're just kind of using a picture to make something look bad when it wasn't. But the project we work on is all about trying to promote a positive image in the media. So I just wanted to first of all see how you guys think. And we've now got a little game, but you might have to work in teams because I don't have enough whiteboards. I can't get it out. It's about some statistics in England, so about how young people are portrayed and how young people feel about the media in England. If I can get this bag unknotted. My glamorous assistant. Why is it timing off? So if I just put them on the table, and you just grab one between two maybe.
Sorry. Yeah, she looks like a book
And do people have rubbers? Yeah. Rubber.
We can do one. Get some more.
Laura. Does everybody between you have pens?
Well, you're not going to do it then.
So what I want you guys to do, I'm going to read out a question on your board. Your question will be percentage, so be a number. And I want you to write down what you think the number will be to the answer to the question, and then hold up your vote. Does everybody understand? Yes? So this is about in England, the media in England. What percentage of stories about young people in the press was about crime? So how many stories about young people in England are about crime?
Like
In newspapers?
like daily or weekly?
Just over a year, how much percent? So out of 100. How many stories about young people was about crime? So out of 100%, how many percent?
The newspaper stories on young people. All the newspapers. How many stories about young people are on crime? Sorry. Can you explain it to? Do you want to sit? Do you want to sit in between everyone so you can explain it? It's fine.
I think has everybody got an answer?
Doing? If it's anything higher than 50,
Ready then?
And then when we're ready, can we just all hold up our answers? Ooh. Nobody has it very correct. Actually, bang on, but you are the closest because it is actually 33.
wow. Well, I wasn't going to say
Right, so if you just want to wipe them back off, then ask the next questions. What percentage of stories in the press celebrated teenagers' positive achievements?
So what percentage of stories were about positive things that young people do?
I don't even think you guys do that.
I never write my teacher that.
Can't do that.
Same as sleep.
Is all done? You guys ready?
No one has done that.
Have a look.
Something here?
20.
And once again, you are the closest. The correct answer is 8.
Wow.
You live in this country.
I work for a newspaper.
Locked you up before I came in.
So you just want to clean up your board.
Can I get paid for these closest answers
The
now?
winner gets a prize. You get a bag of sweets. Is everybody ready for the next one?
Yep.
So what percentage of stories about young people had quotes from young people in them? So if the story was about me, did the newspapers ask me what I thought? So how many young people were quoted in stories about themselves?
So, in stories about young people, how many times were the young people interviewed? How many stories had interviews with young people? What percentage of the stories about young people had interviews with young people? Or interviews, so like talking to the young people instead of just like writing about them. So you ask them what they think about That's a comma. 433.
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Hold up those answers.
Mine has to be the worst one right now.
You're slacking. We've got a new winner. It's actually 8% again.
Wow.
We didn't write it down.
Did you see?
We didn't write it, but we said it.
Stick with your instinct.
Doesn't count.
Right, the next question is, what percentage of young people feel uncomfortable with the negative media coverage of young people? So, how do you...
So in the UK, how many young people feel uncomfortable about the negative media coverage about young people?
Give me a hint.
You have to think about it in terms of England, so we get a bad press. How do you think we feel about it?
Okay.
That's still on. 97. Okay.
Everybody have an answer?
Because most people don't care.
Hold up the answers. Oh, we have lots of correct answers.
Or 90%.
The answer is 90% of young people in the UK. Are we ready for the next question?
Yeah.
What percentage of young people regularly volunteer or help others?
Unless you guys are portraying something else right here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is ready? Let's go all good answer. Hold them up. We actually have a bang on answer. 75%.
Wow.
Did you put 25%?
Yeah.
And you live in England? You should know how good we are.
Right, the next one is...
I just believe the press.
Next one is, what percentage of young people admit to not respecting their elders? So, not respecting like the mom, dad, grandma, granddad.
My mom did.
That'll surely be the other half.
Admit to not respecting their elders.
Oh, the black in that case, yeah.
I don't know,
Everybody got an answer?
Yeah.
Let's hold them up.
1%.
It is
He's right.
actually 1%.
Wow.
Admit to not respecting their elders. We must all.
Hide your answer.
But 1%, they don't.
They admit that they don't respect. So only 1% of young people say that they don't respect their elders.
No,
They're in denial.
they say they don't. Only 50. So 99% do respect.
Yeah,
Or
we're not
say they
evil.
do.
And the last question: what percentage of young people own a hoodie? So like a hooded jumper, which is really accessible when nobody has one on. Oh, sorry.
If Matthew owns a hoodie, it has to be.
The correct answer is 82.
Whoa!
Actually, I only know one person.
Strange, eh?
This is like about 6 months old, so they might all own a hoodie now.
Anything with jumper?
A pullover hoodie. A hoodie is defined, I don't know, it's just a hooded top, isn't it?
Well, any like jacket or top of a hoodie.
Yeah. So that was just a few questions, so I hope you get an idea of how the press looks at young people in England. 33% are about crime, but only 8% are about positive things, whereas 75% of young people are volunteering, so it's very imbalanced in England. So what we want you guys to do, which might be a little bit difficult for the people from South Africa, as the press is very nice, we have a task and we want to get you guys in 3 teams. We want you to sit on 3 different tables, and we want you to come up with a law or an idea or a project which could make the best press in the world for young people. So if you had any powers, what would you do to make the press the way you want it to be as a young person? So in South Africa it might actually be just how you want it to be, but in England we might want to create a law that says if they have a bad press about young people, all the journalists go to jail, or we might be able to call them names. So we have some different things for you guys to use, but I'm going to put you into teams. Is that okay? Or do you want to put yourself into teams? Right. Do you guys want to stay together so you can explain to people? And can you just kind of like this corner, be on that table, this corner on that table, and then if you guys stay on this table, and I'll explain more. Yeah. Can a couple of people stay on this table who are Do you want to tell them to get
Get rid of the people who
A lot of colleges have their own newspapers, but they're not very.
It's very good to know a bit about what's happening, but you don't need to know exactly the details how we
Charges for releasing negative reference.
So we decided, with inspiration from a law that Tim told us in Switzerland about something to stop racism in that country, where you weren't allowed to name the nationality in a crime or negative story.
Yeah,
is that correct?
A
crime. So we thought we should create a law which you're not allowed to name the age of a person in a crime or negative story.
And we could still add the nationality in case of doing really slow.
If we want to add that in, that's fine as well. And then that was basically the gist of it. And then coming from, it draws inspiration from the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child.
Actually, we're finding it difficult to just make a law because to I don't know, restrict the press, the freedom of press, because it's against human rights. But then you can use Children's Rights Convention that UK also signed, which states like there are 3 P's. There is provision, protection, and participation. And so protection, we thought that it's a matter of fact that if you say that young people do bad things, you're not protecting them. You're putting them into danger, because then adults or all the people would just hate them or think they're bad people. Don't give them a chance. So I think it's important to protect them by these laws. That's why we called it
the Youth Image Protection Law.
Okay.
And that's it, I think. And then there was also another bit on it where pages in newspapers had to devote one page to sort of youth in every edition.
It's already good to not to speak badly about youth, but it's not enough to make older people trust them and give them responsibility. So it was good also to speak well of them and give them confidence in themselves. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Great.
Take it away.
This is our radio advertisement.
You have to get in the middle.
I have to go in the middle. So I started with a bit of a...
Rolling in 3, 2, 1. Right, you young people today can't make me on that seat on the bus. Usual.
No, stop it. It's time to stop the negative image of young people. 8, 12, 15, 19, 30, 51, 77, 92. Age is just a number, isn't it? It shouldn't be a main of discrimination. Our new law, the Youth Image Protection Law, will prevent this by stopping the media putting the focus on negative stories and changing their image into a positive one.
Youth Image Protection Law. Good for everyone.
Basically, our idea was so brilliant that another group came up with it as well. So, it starts, we thought, because the press, they just want to sell newspapers, so bad stories sell. So we can't really stop a negative image. So we thought we'd kind of counteract it with a positive image and have, like, make it almost mandatory for newspapers to have at least a column or like a minimum word count for weekly. To like promote young people and so yeah, it's like, but it's reported by young people. So it's young people's stories about the good things that they're doing. Or if we couldn't get that, like have a monthly newspaper with like the same kind of thing in it. And then there would be fines for any newspapers that didn't do it. Yeah, so we were doing a TV advert, but we didn't film it. So that was kind of, yeah, I'm not sure what that is. That's kind of like the layout of what a page in a newspaper would look like, because we've got like the article, and but it's like by a young person, and then we thought we'd have like a little bit of the work of the youth council just because we can, and then like each week there'd be an advert for like a different like local charity that works with children, or a charity of like children doing good things, so that like each different charity would get a chance to be seen. And then we have like a storyboard of our advert. So basically it would start in like black and white kind of old days and be like, in the old days this is what would happen, and like have a hoodie like beating up an old lady or something. And then it gets into modern day where it's like the same person in a hoodie like comes and then like helps the granny with the shopping or something. And then it basically explains about our thing. And then, oh, we're called Kids These Days. That's probably quite important. Yeah? Anything else? Is that pretty much it?
Oh, you're the perpetrator.
Oh, he's got a hoodie. Watch out!
Yeah. Oh yeah, and one of the bits that someone's going to say in the advert is, kids these days are not what you think. We are an important part of the community and the future. To meet the real kids in your town, check out the Kids These Days column in your local paper.
So we've written an article because we also had a really similar idea to the newspaper about having a youth newspaper. So this would be the first page of our youth newspaper, and these are some of the drafts that you would get in a newsroom for the layout of what it would be set out like. So yeah, lots of different scribbles and ideas, and this is sort of the final draft of how our newspaper would look. We even have a cartoon for really, really young readers, so they can understand the issues of the day. And the first news item is about the Youth Parliament being devised by the House of, well, Parliament. And it would consist of young people between the ages of 11 to 18, so basically anyone who can't vote but is still has an opinion and still has a voice. The aim of the House is to give a voice to those who cannot vote around topical issues that will affect them now and in the future. And it says here that the revolutionary approach is going to be like copied by the EU and the US, so it's working quite well by the sound of it. And David Cameron says, as a country, we are leading the pack with youth involvement in Parliament. So we're doing quite well.
That was true.
And this is just an example based on the UK one. And in South Africa, we have a youth league already. So if we can implement this in the different countries, it will be very productive. And then we have statistics that we can release in every weekly newspaper. And like we did this morning, what percentage of stories young people in the press, what percentage of stories about young people in the press was about crime, and it was 33. And the stories in the press celebrated by teenage positive achievements, 88%. What percentage of youth admit not to respecting their elders, 1%. So in every Newcastle / South Africa, you can South Africa, you can get your percentage and make your not your youth only, but the rest of the elders also aware of it. So yeah, anything else?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's it.